which go off as the sun rises. And unfortunately, our propulsion unit was somewhat damaged.
So, what I'm referring to here is the energy you acquired through prayer and through a reversal of the negative and positive energy fields we discussed being interfered with somehow by lack of faith, or faith that was hovering on the brink.
We do not suffer from lack of faith. Otherwise we would never have reached New York.
New York, of course.
Yes, we were in fact heading for Haifa.
But did you, in your efforts to lean forward, did you not feel that you may be in some way breaching the faith convention, which I read in your famous book, Faith and How to Reverse Its Healing Process, could be caused through not so much a difference of field ratio because of the variation of the two different approaches to one faith, namely progressive and non-progressive, that you also, I believe, utilized the energy fields of the progressive non-Jewish element that you had there, which were in effect Christians of different assorted Christians. Now, what sort of assortment did you have? Was it sort of dolly mixture assortment, or was it assortment of like sort of caramel assorted?
It was
with different wrappings.
Different rabbis. Yes,
I'm referring directly here to the Christian element.
The Christian element, yes. Well,
did the rabbis fall short of energy at one point and sort of sway towards the Christian element, or what?
Well, there was a certain, when the depth charge struck, there was a certain dismay which amounted to a loss of religious energy. And in fact, we had to acquire excess energy from other religious sources.
Yes. When you use the word source, do you mean in relation to piquant, in a sense that some were spicy and some weren't?
Some religions are definitely spicier than others.
Could you sort of expound on this?
Well, you may
Did you find, say, for instance, you must have had a sprinkling of, so to say, Presbyterians, which in a case is another phrase of yours, like if you wish to go to heaven, you must have a sprinkling of Presbyterians.
Yes.
Because otherwise the stew is too strong. Therefore, a heavy Roman stew would need a touch of, say, Lutheran salt.
You need thyme.
Thyme? What, rosemary and thyme?
That sort of, the one which is spelt with the Y, yes.
So we have a situation here
and the other sort, of course, which is religious time. You see, religious time and real time are slightly different.
But let's go back to the essential problem. As I see it, we have a submarine floating in ether, as it were. In reality is the water, and it has to get to New York. Now, tell me, how did you actually...
No.
Which no is it? The no for floating in water or New York?
New York.
So you didn't go to New York?
We did.
But that means if you did go to New York, then...
We weren't intending to go to New York. We were intending to go to Haifa, as I previously announced, for the convention of artists, trapeze artists, jugglers and rabbis.
Okay, right. Well, thank you very much.
The AJR.
Thank you very much, Professor.
If I told you where you can buy Bibles, could you tell me where you bought your hat?
That's all today for religion in our times as a positive energy source for the world to utilize. That's all for tonight. Take 2. Right, a new one. Okay, here we go. Serious religion now, no messing about. Ready? You can introduce it this time. And action.
Tonight.
Don't keep moving, because remember your image of God.
Tonight, on the religious broadcasting slot, or RBC, we are delighted to have a monk of the old school, and he is going to explain to us why he chose the old school of monkery as opposed to the modern and less rigorous form of monkery. For example, you're not allowed to speak, I believe.
Do you believe I'm not allowed to speak, or do you not believe I'm not allowed to speak?
Excuse me laughing, I do really apologise.
You forced me to speak, which has destroyed my vows. Therefore, I feel you owe me something.
What do I owe you? I mean, why you did not have to speak. I did say that those of your order may or may not speak. That
No,
was
you
not
said-
may in the sense of can or cannot. Well, it
You
wasn't.
said, did you?
Did
Therefore,
you?
did you? Therefore, I had to reply. And I replied by saying what I said.
No, I said, did you?
Did you?
The Jew, the Jew. I am a Jew.
I know, but I'm a rabbi. Apart from...
You're a rabbi?
I'm a rabbi.
I see.
And the reason I've broken my silence is that I found out that you used to be a Protestant bishop in Heidelberg. Well, why did you change to become a rabbi?
The money.
The money?
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference?
Well, we were actually paid in ecus.
When was this?
This was last July.
But then you were a pastor. Were you a pastor all the time?
I was full-time pastor, yes.
And you were a Lutheran pastor.
I was, yes.
And what happened? Tell the story as you saw it from last
Well,
year.
I was against the diet of worms.
The diet of worms, which
Mhm.
Martin Luther nailed to the door of...
No, we had to eat them.
You had to eat them as a Lutheran pastor.
That's right, with Lutheran pasta.
How long did you do this for?
Well, as I said, I was doing this for several years. I mean, you may have read my book, 500 Ways to Cook Worms.
But you said that you stopped being a pastor last
I didn't
year.
mind. I did. Yes, I
And
did.
how did you quickly become a rabbi? What was the
money.
The essence? How did you...
The money.
How did you enter?
The essence. Are you talking about to the? Have you read my book?
I've read half of your book, but the half that I didn't read is something to look forward to. But what I'm getting at is, how did you actually change from being a Lutheran pastor with the suit to a rabbi with the cloth, the gabardine, and the hat, and need I say more, the ringlets? You suddenly became a rabbi.
I suddenly became a rabbi. It wasn't that sudden because
You can't just become.
you can't just become a rabbi. I mean, there are lots of exams. There are rabbinical exams, and in fact, you are. I mean,
You have A levels and
exactly.
B levels.
Also there's testing at 7, 14, and so on.
How did you manage to get through them?
Well, they gave me all the tests together.
And could you outline what the tests were?
Well, say if we're taking the 7-year-old tests,
This happened to you, did you?
This happened to me myself, yes, because you can't become a rabbi without getting through all the tests. That means that you have to do the 7, 14, 16-year-old rabbi tests. You also have to take O-level, rabography at O-level,
O level.
and A-level.